Nikon is pulling off a massive, highly calculated heist right under Sony and Canon's noses, and honestly, the entire camera industry is completely blindsided. While Cupertino dominates computing and everyone else is focused on minor, iterative, incremental updates, some insane supply chain leaks just totally unmasked Nikon's top-secret weapon. It is the upcoming Nikon Z9 Mark II. Look, ever since Nikon bought Red Digital Cinema, we knew a massive collision was coming. But what the supply chain is whispering right now means this hybrid body is being built from the ground up to absolutely obliterate everything else on the market. We are talking about internal red code raw processing, a crazy low-light sensor design, and processing speeds so fast they basically make global shutters completely irrelevant. If you are a commercial filmmaker or an elite wildlife photographer, you might want to pause your current shopping cart. Let's dive into the core architecture, because according to some deep dive reports from DigiTimes and insights from the ELEC, the heart of this machine is a newly engineered 46-megapixel stacked CMOS sensor. Now, I know what you are thinking. 46 megapixels sounds exactly like the current Z9. But the real magic is hidden deep within the silicon design and the electronic readout speed. Top-tier industry analysts are reporting that this next-gen sensor pushes a blistering 3.5 times faster readout speed than the original model. Wait, why does that actually matter? Because a readout that fast bridges the performance gap to a global shutter system without forcing you to pay the brutal dynamic range penalty or suffering the low light sensitivity losses that usually plague global shutters. It is basically the ultimate workaround. But the sensor breakthroughs do not stop at sheer speed. The most shocking revelation from these recent architecture leaks is the inclusion of a hardware-level, native base ISO of 32. Let that sink in for a second. For decades, the industry standard for full-frame base sensitivity has been stuck around ISO 64 or 100. Pushing down to a true native base of 32 means the full well capacity of every single pixel has been massively increased. The leak suggests this unlocks medium format style tonal depth and a massive expansion of dynamic range in your highlights and shadows. I will believe it when I see it on my own editing monitor, but if the supply chain data is accurate, the image quality here is going to be absurd. Processing that massive ocean of high-resolution data requires some serious computational power. Enter the all-new Xpeed 8 processing engine. This dual-processor brain handles complex predictive algorithms at millions of calculations per second, meaning the autofocus system has been completely rewritten. While the original model was already a benchmark for subject tracking, Japanese tech sites like Makotakara indicate that the Z9 Mark II introduces deep learning predictive autofocus models. These models do not just track a subject, they actually predict human, animal, and vehicle trajectories based on skeletal structures and multi-axis movement patterns. It sounds wild, but it means your tracking will stay locked even if a subject ducks behind a tree or another player crosses the frame. This extreme processing architecture unlocks continuous burst capabilities that honestly sounded impossible for full-resolution RAW files just a couple of years ago. The Z9 Mark II hits a mind-boggling 60 frames per second full-resolution, uncompressed RAW burst in full-frame mode. Think about that. The current generation can hit high frame rates, sure, but only by forcing you down to low-resolution 11-megapixel JPEGs. The Mark II completely shatters that limitation, giving you maximum detail, perfect dynamic range, and full automated focus and exposure tracking at 60 full RAW images every single second. If you need even more speed for sports telemetry or crazy action, dropping the camera into a DX crop mode bumps that performance up to a continuous 120 frames per second. Are you guys hunting for frame rates like this? Or do you prefer higher resolution over raw speed for your daily driver? Let me know in the comments, because I want to see where everyone's workflow is heading. Now, as incredible as the photography specifications are, the real disruption is happening in the cinema world. The Z9 Mark RK2 is secretly an elite red digital cinema camera disguised in an ergonomic mirrorless body. This is the very first flagship born out of the Nikon and Red corporate integration, and it looks like they are not holding anything back. The leaked data confirms the internal integration of the proprietary 12-bit Red code RAW video codec, recorded directly onto CF Express Type B cards. That means no clunky external recorders, no costly licensing fees, and no restrictive external monitors required just to get the best files. We are talking about pure cinema grade, are 3D files captured internally up to 8.3K resolution, at 60 frames per second in a full 3x2 open gate format. To support this massive jump in video processing, the Z9 Mark II incorporates advanced professional color science directly from Red's high-end cinema pipelines. It also includes multiple new film simulation lookup tables that offer exceptionally natural skin tones and deep highlight roll-offs directly out of the camera. This completely bridges the gap between fast turnaround commercial workflows and premium Hollywood grading suites. To ensure this massive data pipeline does not cause a thermal meltdown, Nikon has completely overhauled the physical internal chassis, implementing a highly advanced passive liquid cooling structure. No active fans draining your battery life, just pure, efficient thermal management. On the physical exterior, the rugged build quality that pros depend on has been refined even further. The electronic viewfinder gets a major upgrade, moving to a hyperbright panel boasting over 4,000 nits of peak brightness. This creates a completely blackout-free, intensely realistic viewing experience that mimics an optical finder perfectly, allowing you to keep your eyes glued to the scene in blinding outdoor glare without losing a single pixel of clarity. Plus, for professional photojournalists operating in fast-paced media landscapes, the camera includes native C2PA hardware-level content credentials to fight back against AI manipulation. So, when can you actually buy this thing, and what is it going to cost you? Highly reliable timeline leaks indicate that Nikon is targeting an official developmental announcement and launch window focused around the fourth quarter of 26, with widespread global shipping ramping up heavily into early 27. Looking closely at production costs and the massive inclusion of elite Red cinema hardware pipelines, the introductory retail pricing structure is expected to land right around the $6,500 to $7,000 mark for the body alone. Yeah, it is undoubtedly a premium investment, and that classic premium tax is very real here. But when you realize that this single system effectively replaces both a flagship sports photography camera and a $30,000 dedicated Hollywood cinema rig, the value proposition is absolutely undeniable. Nikon is no longer just competing in the mirrorless market. They are actively dictating the frontier of what a professional imaging hybrid tool can achieve, leaving everyone else scrambling to catch up.